going up to a cold environment. There's people out there that think, oh my God, South Florida going to the cold. How can they deal with that? How does the team deal with it? And is it a subject or factor at all?
I think you talk to they're smart enough to understand that it's November in the Midwest. You talk about it. I mean, and deal with it. But my always punchline to guys wherever I've coached, especially with warmer weather states, is every guy raise your hand if you want to go to the NFL, and everybody will raise their hand. And I said, okay, the Green Bay Packers draft you. Are you not going to go? I said, so if that's your dream, that's what you want to do. I said, you got to play in all weather environments, and so you got to make light of it. You got to have fun with it, but you can't let it be a distraction.
That's home for you, so I'm sure you're used to that. That's what you grew up with football being, I would sure.
Yeah, Thanksgiving time, it's you can wake up and be snow, and it can wake up and be 55. You just didn't know what it was going to be, but yeah, it's good. It's actually going to be good for my family. My whole family's flying up. We got like 35 people coming to the game, so it'll be fun.
How far from Cincinnati are you from?
I'm about 3 hours. I'm on the other side of the state. My wife's about an hour and a half up the road, so it'll be fun to see everybody. Sure will.
Think about what you saw from Matt once he got through those initial 2 passes and settled down.
Yeah, the first part of the second quarter when he jumped in there, the whole they were coming after us a little bit. We had to get our feet on the ground. He made, we always had the bonehead play of the day. He had the one pick, and it was a great learning experience. It was a deal where they did something a little different than the previous snap. But once we got through that little patch there in the second quarter, and as you go back and watch the tape, really had great poise, a presence about himself in the pocket, really stood in there and made some throws that, you liked what you saw when you watched the tape. There were about 3 reads that we'd like to have, that maybe some plays were there that we, went to someplace else and we'd like to. But overall, he took some hits and was very polished at times in the pocket and made some good decisions and kept us out of some minus yardage plays, so that was good to see.
Matt said it seemed like you weren't really hiding any of the playbook from him. Is the whole thing open? You can trust him to do anything that you have?
Yeah, I think we started a little bit slower with him as we went on and on through the game. We did what we wanted to do in terms of the calls. We were probably a little bit more limited, to be honest with you, with some of the receivers we had out of the game, and some of our other positions were limited talent-wise, not talent-wise, but personnel-wise. So we didn't hold back really because of him. Early when they started pressuring us, like we did some things that let him get his feet on the ground after that interception. But past that point, we kind of called the game and let him play and see how he unfolded.
How would you describe what it's like to work with Matt on a personal level in the meeting room?
Yeah.
Just what kind of a guy is he? What kind of feedback do you get from him?
When you sat down, we were all part of recruiting and everything. I knew him, but when I sat down, when I started coaching quarterbacks, I just, what do you want to do? Forget football. What do you want to do? And family's a military background, and wants to maybe go into service. Maybe he wants to get in special forces. Very into politics. I mean, you find out things about kids. He's a neat kid when you get to know him on the personal level. But it's fun because when we watched this tape last night from the game against Miami, the interactions a little bit more now that he's the guy. Asking deeper questions, more thoughtful questions, and it's like you give somebody the keys to the car. Okay, now you're going to start driving this thing, and the personalities start to develop. And he's a pretty smart guy, makes quick decisions, is able to process information fast. And that's the whole key to quarterbacking, whether you're playing a wing tee, a veer, or whatever you're running. A quarterback has to make a decision probably on average about every 2 seconds. And the guys that can process it and make the decision correctly, I don't care how big, tall, fast, strong you are, those are the guys that are generally pretty successful. And I think he has that knack of doing that. He won't make mistakes, but I think he has that knack to do it and has always performed pretty well in live situations for us. So hopefully that will continue to grow.
You never had Landy as a quarterback since you've been here, right?
No. Today I did.
Yeah. I know. Up until this week, I was going to say.
Yeah.
Just in terms of his receptiveness to coming back to it, I think he knows it's more of an emergency type
thing.
Yeah,
we want to give him a bunch of reps there just in case we have an emergency. He knows the tight end position, the H-back position well enough, and he's coming off that injury that he had. So his reception's been good. Actually, he's done a nice job. You always worry about quarterback center exchange and things with new guys. Done a nice job there, and just all the little things. And we let him throw a bunch of skill, and he's understands where to go with the ball. And I played receiver, had played quarterback, tight end. He's kind of knows the offense from the outside in, so to speak. And been really pleased with him. And we have fun with it. You got to make it fun for him. But I've been very pleased with his maturity level on it.